Tuesday, 8:48 p.m. Eastern. Hey guys, this is Bilal, and we're going to be talking about three specific stock picks from our channel. The first two are going to be penny stocks, and the last one is going to be one of my favorite stock picks, an electric car company. Um, so, let's get to it. So, basically, what we're going to talk about is we're going to go over technical analysis over each stock, including the fundamental analysis around that stock, like the current news, why the stock is moving, as to how it's moving, and kind of a future outlook of the stock and the potential in the stock, basically in the long and short term. So, first of all, let's get to our first stock pick. It's Gritstone Oncology. It's a pharmaceutical company. So, Gritstone Oncology, it's basically a company that specializes in immunity against different types of cancer. So, their goal is basically to, discover or invent, methods that can, or like medicine, that can enable humans to be immune to different cancer types. Okay, so that's their goal, and that's something we're going to talk about today. Is that how it went up 36% today. That's a big deal for the stock. And if we look at the chart from a technical standpoint, let's take out the volume shelf right here. So if we look at the chart right here, it capped at $33 per share around in 2018. December of 2018. So, and right now it's at 555 per share, which is not bad. Okay, right now, it went up 36%, which is a big deal for the stock. Let's kind of zoom out a little on the weekly chart. Okay, I see over here a trend line indicating this downtrend, the current downtrend. If we go to the daily chart right here, that trend line is broken today. Okay, with really nice, a big spike in volume. Okay, which is a good indication, a bullish indication for the stock, meaning buyers are present. Another thing I want you guys to notice over here is this price gap. So if you guys don't know, stocks like to fill price gaps, meaning to fill this gap, we need to go to about 620 per share. So let's just draw a line there, 620. Okay, and let's just draw a line right above today's high. Let's say 590. So I would say, a break above 590 could definitely see an upside move to fill this gap right here. And that gap could, the what's it called? The 620 level could act as resistance, which in this case acted as support. So, the broken support is now our new resistance in this case. So another scenario could be, we could come down to retest that trend line, and that could be a good re-entry point, obviously, because as you can see, we have created another price gap here, which is something to consider also. That means price could also come down here to fill this gap, or it could continue down here. There's multiple scenarios, you got to think of. But in this case, I see a bullish scenario. Okay, there's a good volume spike with buyers coming in, and I feel like tomorrow is going to be a good and green day for it, but we will see. So let's kind of throw in the volume shelf. According to the volume shelf, we have some tough resistance at the 650 level, around that level. So I would say if we can clear some of that consolidation, we will definitely hit that level. But the 650 to 660 supply zone is where it's at. If we hit that, we can definitely see some consolidation, a lot of selling actually, and I don't think it will be really easy to clear that. But long term, I think this is a good stock because technically, I think if we can clear the $7 mark, we can see some upside to around $9. But then again, that's the what if the stock breaks out. So that's the technicals. Okay, now let's kind of look at the RSI and how the entry point was before. So there was some bullish divergence, on the stock when it was around, I think, 250. Yeah, when it was $250 per share, that was a really nice entry point for the stock, and it wasn't too long ago. It was in November, so that could have been a really nice entry point for this move right here. So that's like something to note. Another thing to note is I don't think right now is a good entry point, because if we look at the RSI, and it's almost at the 80 mark. So historically, if we backtest, every time we reach the 80 mark, we have a big sell-off. Okay, so that's something I would be careful of when entering the stock. Definitely wait for a pullback before entering this, even for the price cap. So that's the technicals. Now let's look at the fundamentals. Let's go to Yahoo Finance. So in Yahoo Finance, the asks outweigh the bid. The asks are 4,000, bids are 1,000, which is indicating definitely a bearish, setup. Which is understandable, because the RSI is overbought, and the stock has run up 36% today. So it definitely needs a breather before it can run up again. So we'll definitely see some taking profit. The volume was significantly above average, which is a good sign, a bullish sign. Let's see. Let's go to, yeah. So here's the fundamental reason why the stock went up so much. So on January 4, after hours, after the market closed, Eco R1 Capital disclosed that they had about 10% stake in the Gritstone Oncology Company, which caused the stock to shoot up almost 10% after hours. Okay, and which in turn caused the 36% rally today. Eco R1 Capital, if you guys don't know, it's an investment company that focuses on the pharmaceutical industry, health stocks. Okay, so that company basically disclosed that it had 10% stake in the Gritstone company, which is about 4.9 million shares, which is a lot of shares. Okay, so that's basically the main reason why the stock shot up so much. Now, let's talk about our next stock pick. Our next stock pick is gonna be an OTC stock, or the counter stock, Extreme Fighting Championship. DKMR is the ticker. Okay. Now, from a technical standpoint, this stock, the movement of the stock is kind of iffy, but at the same time, the stock price is so good. Okay. So what I see here is the RSI is definitely showing some bullish divergence, but at the same time, if we zoom in a little, right here. So what I want is, I want the stock to come down, like not even one. I think the stock can come down to the previous all-time low, which is around 0.03. So even if we throw in the pivot points are basically support and resistance levels. They show us, a downside here. If we break the low here, the 52-week low, we can definitely see the 0.03 somewhere around here. But then it, never rely too much on indicators. In my opinion, it's just a personal opinion. From a technical standpoint, definitely right now is not the right time to enter. Definitely want to see some downside. The best entry point would be at around the 0.03, 0.04 mark. And that's like for a long-term hold. You could just buy in and then just hold along if you got some spare money. Okay, so let's look at the fundamentals of the stock. Why it shot up 4.5% today. So ticker DKMR. Obviously, the first thing we're going to look at is Yahoo Finance. So the bids and asks, nothing there. Volume was, not too shabby. About 500,000 volume. The average volume is about 1,913,234. And chart events, neutral pattern detected. There's really not much of a pattern. Sideways movement. let's go over to the fundamentals of this stock. So fundamentally, there's a lot going on actually for the stock. The headline Extreme Fighting Championships XFC stock symbol DKMR is being hailed by global media powerhouse Forbes as an organization that is poised to gain massive MMA market share. So, like, according to Forbes, this stock is poised to gain massive MMA market share in 2021. Now, like, the reason behind it is, I think, in my opinion, the main reason behind it is that it's the only publicly traded independent MMA organization. So, like, if this is the only stock, the MMA stock that's being traded right now, so, like, everybody, if you want to be a part of it, this is stock to buy. If you want to be a part of the MMA, this is stock to buy. And there's no other public stock. It's also partnered with HBO, ESPN, and other major sports networks. Highly experienced management with top names from the MMA field. It has, I think, like around, I read the article, and it has like around 44 registered fighters. And right after, not even after, sorry, right before each hexagon fight, they gift each fighter, a specific number of shares of the company. So that's something, to keep in mind. If the fighters have shares, obviously there's a future for the company. And it's the only publicly traded independent MMA organization. So definitely, 2021 could be, unpredictable for the company. It has partnered with Fighting Spirit, Europe's powerful leader in combat sports. Shareholder perks in partnership with Ticker to grow fan base. And according to this article, they're planning a relaunch to gain, they're planning a relaunch of the XFC as it's poised to gain massive MMA market share in 2021. Like, guys, we talked about it, in the last website, that Forbes, according to Forbes, it's poised to gain massive MMA market share. In my opinion, it's because it's the only stock that's, publicly traded that represents the MMA organization. And this article also tells us how the different fighters, I think around 44 fighters, get the market shares for the company right before each fight. So definitely, they have the shares also. And like the only, I would say, downside I see is it's not at the right price, at least for me. I want it to go a little more lower before, like, I see a position being started. So I would say at least the all-time low. Now, the last ticker we're going to talk about is one of my favorite stocks. It's an electric car company stock. Not necessarily an electric car company. It builds chargers for the electric cars, okay, in the parking lots. It's called BLNK Charging Company. Ticker symbol BLNK. So, in my opinion, this is the year for BLNK. Biden is being president. He's climate control friendly, and I think, a lot of companies, electric car companies like Tesla, NIO, Lee Automotive, all these companies, they're benefiting from these headlines. So the future is all electric. The UK gave the auto industry to ditch fuel, in the next 10 to 15 years. And a lot of hybrid cars are coming out from Toyota, Honda, and whatnot. And I just think, if there's more electric cars, definitely they're going to need more electric car chargers in the parking lots, or even at homes. And I think BLNK is a company to do it. So, why I think that? Let's talk about it technically, from a technical standpoint first. If we look at the monthly chart, BLNK capped at around 37.46 in August of 2010. Now, definitely at that time, we didn't have a lot of electric cars. That was just talk. All talk, no play. So right now, we're seeing it happening. Everything is electric now. Fuel's going. So if you look at the weekly chart right here, there's a really nice hammer forming off of support. Okay, the previous breakout level. So if this hammer can close green, like if this weekend closed above, I would say like well above 42, and this candle closes green, that would be a really nice setup for the following week, leading into the I would say 52-week highs in the upcoming month or so. Let's go to the daily chart. Now, we actually bought in the stock this year. There's a really nice trend line indicating this uptrend. And I also see a channel right here. Yeah, there you go. So basically, we got in the stock around 36, I would say. Yeah, around 36. Because now I'm gonna tell you what. Definitely when we were over here, there was some bearish divergence on the RSI. And like, you never buy high, you never sell low. So that was just like, not a good entry. It was too high, too expensive for us. So waited for a pullback. Okay. Now that was a really nice correction. Pullback with low volume, volume dropping, pullback, that is a good sign that the stock is just pulling back before running up again. Okay, it's not the stock crashing. So, like, there was a trend line indicating that uptrend. Every time the stock came down to that line, we had a nice run up. So that's why we bought when we touched that trend line. Okay, also there was a 21 MA, which acted as a nice support for the automated orders to get filled in, causing an 8%, almost an 8% rally at close today. And I expect a really nice move up even in the short term. Now let's kind of look at the news for BLNK. Yahoo Finance. The bids definitely outweighing the asks because we're at such a level, such a good level that interests a lot of buyers. I feel like there's more upside in the near term. Volume, really nice volume, 8 million volume. Average volume is around 11 million. Okay, let's look at the fundamentals. So, January 4, where was it? Yeah, January 4. That's when BLNK dropped about 12%. So there was really no reason in the news articles why the company dropped. I think it's just simply because the stock needed a pullback. And that was a good pullback because that's where the trend line was. Okay, from a technical standpoint of view. Sometimes they just don't have any excuse to put there as to why the stock dropped or shot up. So, like, the most you can do, the best thing you can do is just look at the chart. Okay. Now remember, the news follows the charts. Okay? The charts don't follow the news. Now, BLNK did sign a new deal because the auto giants are back. EV incentives. BLNK Charging signs a new deal as auto giants back EV incentives. Sorry. So basically, like BLNK is gonna keep on signing new deals because they're gonna need new chargers. Like BLNK's EV charging network spans 23,000 stations worldwide. Okay, last week it scored a deal to deploy 26 EV chargers at Burger King locations. So that's a big deal. And that's gonna bring in a lot of revenue, a lot of demand because a lot of EV cars are coming out, a lot of chargers demand, home chargers. Definitely they're gonna be innovative and come up with new ways to make these chargers more affordable as more electric cars come out. So that's something to look forward to. Um, let's see what else is here. So these are electric car stocks that are booming right now. NIO, there's XPEV, Xpeng Motors, Li Auto, LI Ticker, and like first of all Tesla. Tesla has been on a massive run. And obviously, if those electric car companies are running up so much, definitely, BLNK is due for a run up also. It's been pulling back while electric car companies have been, on a massive run. Like Tesla is up almost 800% this year. Sorry, not this year, but 2020. Um, but like I feel like this is the year for BLNK charging company, and I think now is, I would say like now is the best time to invest in this company and just ride it along for the whole year. I feel like the whole year this company could go much higher after Biden is president, and we focused more on climate change, which will be beneficial for electric car company stocks and the charging company itself. Okay, guys, but that's all. So we covered GRTS, DKMR, and BLNK. And this is Bilal signing off. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you guys have any questions and suggestions, anything that you feel like should be improved in the video, feel free to leave a comment. I'll be sure to add it in the next videos. Other than that, if you have any questions about these stocks, any advice or anything, feel free to leave that in the comments also. Okay. Um, this is Bilal signing off, and you guys have a great day.